So basically, I was listening to Mikky Ekko's Smile last night. Smile, the worst is yet to come. And I stumbled across a comment, a rather interesting comment which I'll read to you right now. Please do excuse the language of this comment, I didn't write it, so you can't really blame me. This person, bloke, woman, I don't know, all the breathtaking book that John Green wrote. Gosh, makes me so upset. Okay, God. So I was reading that last night and I was like, that's it. I have to read this book. I've decided to read Paper Towns, so let's get to it. This morning, with a nice cup of Ribena, don't know why I mentioned that. This morning, I did decide to read it, well, I read the first chapter. Before I start, I did make a video about the epilogue of this book. There was nothing really to the epilogue. We just meet the two main characters, which does seem like a lot, but it's not that much. Quentin Jacobson, who is this person here, and then Margot, who is this person here. Basically, they're 9-year-olds and they find a dead body, because that's what all 9-year-olds do. They go to the park and they find a dead body. Yeah, pretty much. In the first chapter, it doesn't really... Well, it's kind of an interesting first chapter. It starts off with Quentin, who's now, I guess, 18, on his last legs of high school, secondary school. Either one will do. You know, he's kind of the typical... I read this line in the book, and it was kind of like a strange line, because I was like, wait, this is like the typical geekish line. He goes... Yeah, here's another thing. He says, as she drove, Mum was asking me about classes and finals and prom. I don't believe in prom, I reminded her as I rounded a corner. Oh, now I found the line. But, like, it's not necessarily you can't believe in prom. I never understand that. When people are like, I don't believe in something. Yes, you cannot believe in a belief system, but you can't just not believe in something that's kind of there and you know it happens. It's like fucking Donald Trump. My mate said to me the other, like, a couple months ago, before, like, well, like a year ago almost, before Donald Trump was actually, like, crazy in that, all business, and he said Donald Trump's running for president, and I was like, I don't really want to believe that, but in all sense, he was running for president, so I had to believe it. It's kind of one of those weird things. But he says, I expertly angled my Raisin Bran to accommodate the G-forces. Hashtag physics. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's Quentin. He's kind of just a general kid. He's not like one of those really like cliche popular kids. He's just kind of a general cool kid, just hanging out, doing crazy stuff. And then we meet his friend Ben. The only way I can describe him is Jay from The Inbetweeners. I'm guessing you're watching this and you haven't seen The Inbetweeners. The Inbetweeners is brilliant and it's amazing. Please watch the UK series, don't watch the American series. Nothing against the American series, except that it's shit. Actually, the funny thing was, in describing Ben, John Green describes Ben as a small, well, Quentin describes John as a small olive-skinned creature. Sounds like a fucking David Attenborough with a field note. It was a small, olive-green creature. They're talking about prom. Ben doesn't have a date to the prom, and he says, well, and Ben goes, well, this morning some darling little 9th grade honey bunny came up to me and asked me if I was Bloody Ben. And I began to explain that it was a kidney infection, and she giggled and ran away. So that's out. Who describes a year 9 as a honey bunny? I was reading it, I was like, this kid's in year 12, this girl's in year 9, he's like some honey bunny. This guy's like a borderline sex pest. They're talking about Margot now, who Quentin actually quite enjoys, quite likes her. Ben says of Margot, honestly, she's hot, but she's not hot. She's not that hot. You know who's seriously hot? Who? I asked. That's Quentin speaking. Ben says, Lacey. Also, your mum. Bro, I saw your mum kiss you on the cheek this morning, and forgive me, but I swear to God, I was like, man, I wish I was Q. And also, I wish my cheeks had penises. Oh my God. This guy is Jay from The Inbetweeners. Then they go and find their friend Radar. And his name isn't actually Radar. His name's actually Marcus. His name's Marcus, but we call him Radar. And the whole thing is, there's this thing where he's like, oh, he looks like Radar from MASH. I have no fucking idea who that is. Like, literally, that isn't a very great description, because if you don't know who Radar from MASH is, you're not really going to have the greatest idea. So Radar grew about, okay, so they're like, oh, he grew about 6 inches, he wears glasses, he's black. But they've always called him Radar, as in Radar from the programme MASH. His name's Donald, but we called him Adolf. Other Donald Trump jokes are available. They keep on talking about prom. This is like the strangest thing. Quentin clearly states that he doesn't believe prom exists, yet he constantly talks about it in the first chapter with Ben and Radar. Yeah, so nothing much happens after that. They're talking about prom. We meet Ben, we meet Radar. We learn a little bit about Quentin because it's all sort of from his perspective. We learn that Ben's nickname is the Bloody Ben, because, as it says, in 10th grade, Ben was hospitalised for a kidney infection, but Becca Arrington, Margot's best friend, started a rumour that the real reason he had blood in his urine was due to chronic masturbation. Which is probably true, given that he refers to Year 9s as honey bunnies, and he wants to be sucked off by Quentin's mum. So then it just goes on, he comes back to his house, yada yada, does some homework, eats some dinner, talking to Ben and Radar again, and then Margot just appears. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, she just creeps into his bedroom. It's midnight. Quentin says, my days had a pleasant identicalness about them. I had always liked that. I liked routine. I liked being bored. I didn't want to, but I did. And so May the 5th could have been any other day. Could have been any day. Until just before midnight, when Margot Roth Spiegelman slid open my screenless bedroom window for the first time since telling me to close it 9 years ago. Well, 9 years before. See, I'm messing up the lines already. That was the first chapter. It may have seemed a little incoherent. What am I doing with the book? If this was a real incoherent mess, or if you enjoyed it, please do subscribe. And hey, we should send that message soon. We're going to send a message now to that lovely lady. The bucket list. Thank you to the bucket list. Shout out to the bucket list for getting me on this idea of reading the book once again. We're going to read this book, and then I'm going to see if the film is any better. Thank you to the bucket list. And thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of this stuff. We're going to be doing lots of paper towns talking about Black Santas, chronic masturbation, and Bloody Ben and his friends, and all that lovely business of Quentin. And we'll see if Quentin ever goes to the prom that he so thoroughly does not believe in.